We have had an incredibly stressful, irritating afternoon. Water's gone off, brownouts, thinking all sorts of stuff. The power has only just come back on, just as I thought it was not going to happen tonight. The power has come back on, so I've been rushing for the last couple of minutes to get here. Can everyone hear me? Oh, there we go. Plastered Finger, evening all. Plastered Finger, only me here. No, I'm here too. Adam Fenton, hey Plastered. I'm singing in here now as well. There we go. Adam and Plastered. And now there's 7. The Magnificent 7. I'm here too, by the way. Plastered Finger sound okay. Billy, how are you? How is your leg? I'm very concerned that you haven't, you don't seem to have taken antibiotics. Good audio. Hey, Simon. Hey, Adam. You said that you were using alcohol. Have you had any antibiotics yet? We have an echo, though. Do you still have an echo now? Because that might be because I had my laptop came on. Let me know if there's still an echo, please. Echo or no echo? Yeah, didn't think this was going to... No would chew. There we go. I think you mean echo. Yeah, that was just my laptop came on. No echo. Thank you, Adam. Yeah. No, my I inadvertently put the sound on my laptop. Matthew Creaming 4611. Good day, everyone. Matt here from Perth, Western Australia. Long time watcher. Well, welcome to the party, Matthew. It's very nice. Very nice that you were there to able to join us tonight. Yeah. How are things in your world? Still trying to scratch my breath now. Scratch my breath, catch my breath. It literally, the power came on at 2 minutes to 7. And then at the same time as that came on, we've got the guy who's been trying to fix the water because that had gone off. You got to do this break, you got to do that. Ellen's having trouble with the internet. Anyway, there we go. We're here. All's well that ends well. So we have Adam in the house. We've got Billy in the house. We've got Matthew in the house. Matthew, Magic will be in the Philippines at Dumaguete end of January. But why? Are you moving here or is that a holiday? Are you visiting someone? Why Dumaguete in January? Dave Minskip, hi Simon. Another from Perth as well. Western Australia. I was trying to work out what the WA was for. Then it's Western Australia, I'm guessing. The 10th Light Horse, Men from Western Australia. I love that film, Gallipoli. Yes, Dave, and hopefully I will see you on the 11th. Looking forward to that, mate. What time does your flight get in that day? Matthew Creaming 4611, holiday on my way to Chiang Mai for some Muay Thai. Bit of Muay Thai, eh? Sounds like pain to me. Are you competing or are you going to one of those training camps? Adam Fenton, it's been pissing rain today in, good Lord, HCM, Ho Chi Minh City. I thought you'd written HMC then, Her Majesty's Customs is what our IRS is in UK. I read that. That way my mind works, I read that as you were telling me, have you heard what's happening with HMRC? Oh God, here we go. What are they doing? What's the new tax rule? Yeah, we booked Ellen's got these ideas that we're going to go on an open top bus, and she's got a few things planned, which I'm happy to do. But I've said to her a couple of times, "You sure that it's because the kind of things you're looking at, there's no contingency on an open top bus for rain and stuff like that." I said, "Are you sure it won't rain? What's the weather forecast?" She's adamant it doesn't, but you've worried me now. You said it does, or it is. Plaster Finger, okay, well, no antibiotics, just alcohol and sub cream and antibacterial cream. Nothing broken, but keeping an eye on my temp. 5 days in and all seems okay. Thanks. Well, Billy, I will keep my fingers crossed for you. But since I've been in the Philippines, I can count at least more than 10 people I know. They've all come off their bikes. They've all had, the rash burn. Patrick being a classic example next door. He had the rash burn. He took some alcohol, put some antiseptic cream. I said to him, everyone I know who's had gravel burns here gets infected. And he was the same thing. And then 2 weeks later, pus coming out of it and had to go and get antibiotics and all the rest of it. Same thing happened with Paul over in Siggyhall. He was on about the 2 weeks, thought it all healed up, and then suddenly the pus and that starts coming up, had to go to the hospital, be injected with antibiotics. I hope you're all right, Billy. I'm not trying to lecture you, but I don't know a single person, and I say more than 10, it's probably 20, in the time I've been here, who's come off and hasn't ended up on antibiotics. The ones who've gone and got the antibiotics straight away have been fine, but all the others have ended up at some stage on antibiotics. But hopefully, brother, you will be the one that doesn't. Dave Minskip, 9 a.m. to Duma, want to try to buy a tricycle on the first day. You want to try and buy a tricycle on the first day? Why? I've got the wrong impression. I thought you were coming here for Christmas and the New Year, so I thought you were coming to Duma and then going somewhere else. Does that mean you're coming to Duma? I mean, that's where your base is going to be, Duma. Adam Fenty, open top bus is a great idea. Tours aren't that long. You can just show up on the bus, pick up, and pay for the tour. Yeah, well, Ellen's got it in her mind. She wants to book it in advance, which I've told her to do. I've said, look, book it. The reason she wants to book it in advance, she wants things with her name on it, because I don't think she's got anything to worry about, because we've already left the country once. But they say when you go, if the customs stop you and give you a second interview, they want proof that you're going there as a tourist, so they want bookings and things. So she wants, a lot of people have said just book it when you get there, but she, understandably, just wants things booked in her name so she can say she's doing this if they ask to see a travel itinerary. Which I said to her, probably not a bad idea, because all the ones in Agoda, you can cancel up to 24 hours before. 48 hours before. So I said to her, look, just book it for like the second day before we go or whatever, and then we'll either do it, or if we get there and want to go earlier, we'll just cancel that one and go and pay on the day. But that's why she wants to book it. I say, so as long as it's refundable, shouldn't be a problem. There is a logic to the madness. Dave Minskin will be near Biowan most of the time. Okay, I didn't know you were staying on Negros. I don't know why. For some reason, I assumed this was just a stopgap on the way to another island. Well, it makes sense then. David, 3 days in Dumagetti. Are you planning on buying the trike then and driving up to Biowan? What make trike are you going to get? I wanted to get a trike when I first got here, but Ellen shot that down. She said point blank she would not get in it with me, which I thought more the reason to buy it. But yeah, she wouldn't. She put me off the idea, and then since then she was right. I mean, some people swear by them, but my mate Marco, who used to run the Latinos, he had one, and he swore by it. But as he said, going up the mountains and things, they've got no power on them. It's really, really slow. But you know, a Bajaj. Well, I say, I know a few people that got those. I mean, some people swear by them. Some people, well, best of luck with it. Lots of places. You're going to buy a new one. There's loads of places sell them in Duma, and most of the things, like when we bought a scooter, there's no problem you just turning up on the day, buying it, and walking out the shop with them usually. So they got them in stock, which I'm sure they will. You should be able to get it for the wife's family, really. Okay. Well, that's a nice Christmas present. So we've got Dave here, we've got Billy here, we've got Adam here, we've got Matthew here. We've got 11 people watching and 3 thumbs up. Who's not here? There's no Jack, there's no Jim. We got Adam Fenay. Totally understandable. I enjoyed the vlog from last week about cost of living. I enjoyed the food and the slice of life portions. Yeah, I quite enjoy doing those, but no one apart from you, Adam, seems to have any interest. I think it's all about the title. More people seem to watch that because I made it cost of living. I said I'll never do another cost of living video, and I won't in terms of sitting down there, but I might do another vlog, you know, which goes through the cost of living like that. Because a lot of people seem to enjoy that. But yeah, um, yeah, people just don't, you know, maybe I don't have the right titles, or maybe there are so many people doing, you know, slice of life vlogs. But I say they take a lot of editing work. Um, and when no one watches them, it just puts you off doing it. You just think, well, what was the point of that? But I will do more. And it means I'm learning, I'm getting better at editing. I'm still terrible, but if I hadn't done those vlogs, I wouldn't have been able to do some of the things I can do now. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. So let's look at this. So Matthew is on his way to Chiang Mai. Dave, have you been here before, Dave? Is this your first time to Dumagetti? I don't think it is. I think we've spoken before, haven't we? In the chats, but will it be your first Christmas here? Adam Fente, next video title: The Dangers of Retiring in the Philippines. Into the video, the biggest danger is having too much fun. Yeah, that really is a danger. Yeah, in an ironic way. My God, yeah, this place can try you at times. We've had 2 days without water, and then the guy came around, thought we'd fixed it, said we had water again. So we went out to get something for dinner. Came back an hour ago, straight in the house. There's no water. Didn't find out until I got in the shower, and I'm covered in shampoo and that. And I'm thinking, I just don't need this. Can't it get any worse? Come out the bathroom, shampoo and everything, covering it. Think, how am I going to wash this off? And then a brownout. Yeah, it can be testing at times, but it's all good now. Dave Minskip, watch the restaurant vlog again. Disappointed Latino's closed for now. First Christmas. Yeah, I'm disappointed Latino's has closed. I don't understand why it's closed, to be honest. I will have to message Markham and find out, because that was a very strange one. Without giving away any confidences, Marco told me he was thinking of, he was basically going to close that place in about 6 months. And then they had another place lined up in Dumagetti, which they were going to open around November time. And that was his plan. And he saw a vlog that I did about the restaurants. And he messaged me and said, you're talking about this place and that place having the best spare ribs. Come over next week. I want you to try ours. And I was like, no. So anyway, he insisted. So I said, well, if I've got the time, I'll come over. And I messaged him and I said, do you still want me to come and try these ribs? And he said, no, the restaurant is closed. We've had to close down. We're going to be moving to the new place in November. And that was that. Never heard anything of it since. I must message him and find out what's going on, because obviously there has been a change of plan. Obviously, he didn't intend to close when he closed, because he told me to come, you know. Yeah, because what it was, that's right. We were going away to Thailand. No, we were going away somewhere. And he said, come over tomorrow and have spare ribs. And I said, well, I can't. I'm going away. He said, well, come over when you get back. When you're back, I told him. Can't remember where we went. But then when I got back, I messaged him, and the restaurant was closed. You know, no explanation. That was it. So it's a strange one. But I hope he does open again, because it was bloody good food. People keep messaging me, and I can't move them around. There we go. Andrew Apple 6003. Hi, Simon. Is there a lot of e-scooters, four-wheel go-karts on the roads in Dumagetti? Are they legal to drive there? Well, the first thing about Dumagetti, you don't have to worry about what's legal and what's not. There are no rules here. It's the Wild West of driving. There are quite a few e-scooters. They're not that popular over here, but there are several places in town selling them. I know people who've got them. So yeah, they are a thing. You do see the occasional golf carts, not many, but they're here and they're legal. Yeah, I mean they're definitely legal. Yeah, I mean you'll see them when you go out. You will see the electric scooters, but they're not, anywhere near as popular as the conventional bikes. But they're about. So I know of at least off the top of my head, I can think of 3 places that sell scooters. You do see a lot of the tricycles. Places selling tricycles. I don't think I've ever seen anyone selling the golf carts, but I have seen golf carts about a couple of times. Dave Minskip. Pasta King Cafe di Roma was good a few years ago. We'll try it again. I don't know where that is. Have you heard of that, sweetie? Pasta King Cafe di Roma. Where's that? Have you been there? Okay. Ellen's been very monosyllabic. We had an argument. It's stress. The stress of the power and the water has not been conducive to a good atmosphere in the Speaking of Asia house. I'm sure very shortly though she'll realise the error always, come out and apologise and ask what she can do to make me forgive her. Don't worry, sweetie, I forgive you. She go, I don't. Satoshi Yukamoto 841. Hey there, Simon. Long time listener, first time caller. Well, welcome, Satoshi. Where are you coming from? I'm going to guess. I make a fool of myself now. That sounds like a Japanese name. Where in the world are you, mate? Welcome on board. Dave Minsky, near the Henry. Okay, well, Ellen's just heard of it. I'm going to go out on a limb now. I'm going to speak for her. I don't think she's heard great things, because if she had done, she'd have been on at me to go there, take her there. But I've never heard of the place. But she knows where it is. I have to have a word with her afterwards. Adam Fente, highs and lows. But that's the fills. You guys have or considering backup water containers? We've got backup water containers. Got a tank. It's the problem with those is you don't realise that there's a problem with the water until anyway. It's the problem is the guy who fixes it or who looks after that doesn't have a clue. He's an electrician. He doesn't know. He's a nice guy, but he doesn't know. So we keep having water problems, and he keeps coming out within the day, which is nice of him, but it keeps misdiagnosing it. And then it just, anyway, it is what it is. We have water now. Hallelujah, praise in the high. Nope Island. Well, there you go. Top of the morning to you. That's a very Irish name, that is. You're in the middle of Tempo. No, we don't do Tempo anymore. I just do a happy dance and she cheers up. But you're not in Tampo, are you, my sweet? Nope. Telling me to shut up. Telling me alum. Shut up. Oh, pick the bear. I tell you what we need to do. We need to get aircon and that aircon engineer. Remind me to call Alex and get that number, because this needs servicing. It's no good, this aircon in here. Satoshi Yakamoto. My grandmother was Irish. Or so was mine. Both of them. So was my father and my mother. So we have something in common. What part of Ireland are you living in? As you probably guessed, I have dual nationality. I am Irish and English. $13 people. A lot. I'm starting to wonder. A lot of the new we got. It's nice that we got some new people in. Just wondering where the regular crew are. Dublin. Fastest growing city in Ireland, that. It keeps doubling and doubling. It's a nice city, Dublin. I won't tell you my Ice Cube joke. I did that the other week. Andrew Apple. My grandmother was human. Ha ha ha. Well, there you go. I think mine was too, really. It's a long time ago, though. I can't remember. Adam Van Eyck, I've tried to do some online shopping for once here using Shopee. Have you tried Shopee or Lazada? I use Lazada from time to time. I'm not really keen on internet shopping, so I only use it for necessities. I have never used Shopee. Ellen is the other way around. She uses Shopee, but she doesn't like Lazada. She has her reasons why she doesn't like Lazada. I don't know what they are, but watching her experiences, I have reasons why I don't like Shopee. So never the twain will meet. Have you ever ordered anything on Lazada, sweetie? What? There we go. Carl Sebastian, I am one of your old people. Are you? What do you mean by that, Carl? Anyway, welcome to the live chat. I am one of your old people. Satoshi, your video on a day in the life of Doom looks good, Simon. Good community. Which video was that? Which video was that? I can't remember what I call my vlogs, but it is. No, I do like that. I do like the community here. I've said many times in videos, it's the best thing about Doomageddon. You know, a lot of people take too long to realise that, in the sense that they come here to visit and they're not blown away. I was one of those people, because when you get to Dooma, it ain't paradise. I mean, it is not. I think it depends how happy you are in your previous life and where you have come from. But I totally get why a lot of vloggers come here for a couple of days in Dooma and then think they hate the place and go elsewhere, because they think they know what Dooma's all about after a few days. And they don't. Because the thing that keeps people in Dooma is the community spirit. It is the activities. It is the community. It really is, certainly for me and most of the people I know here. But it takes a few months to build up a network of people and things. And that is the trouble. You know, a lot of people give up on it too soon. Whereas you can go to somewhere like Sikihor and it will blow you away how breathtakingly beautiful it is, and you'll fall in love with the place, but you'll find after a short period of time, doesn't have a community there. It doesn't have the same thing, and it soon wears thin. But yeah, I'm glad you've noticed that. That is something I try and portray in the videos. Billy, I know I'm not a mortal, mate. Spent a lot of time in and around Crickhowell with a certain group, and learned to clean my own wounds to the point of, if you're crying, you've not fainted yet. Yeah, mate, I'm not, listen, I am genuinely hoping that you'll be okay, mate. But it's just one of those things. The Philippines seems to have a lot of very unpleasant bacteria in it. You know, I know lots of people who had scrapes and that in the UK and things, you know, fallen over and never got infections. Here, everyone seems to get, you know, and sometimes the worst ones are the slow ones. You know, it's like when you think you're healed up and then suddenly the old pus and that starts coming out. But you might, you know, I'm sure you're made of tough stuff, Billy. You might be the one who, you know, the one exception to the rule. But certainly if I ever, I mean, I hope to God I won't. I hate being grazed. But who likes it, let's be honest. But if I did end up grazed, I would definitely, my first port of call would be to a chemist to get some antibiotics sorted out. Carl Sebastian, you were saying you're looking for new people, meaning new viewers. Okay, got you, Carl. Now I understand. Makes perfect sense now you put it that way. Well, thanks for joining, Carl. It's much appreciated. Don't worry, man, K3N. Have you watched any vlogs from the Pro-Life Traveller? I very, very, very much doubt it. Just hold on 1 second, chaps. I'm just going to grab a snooze. I've left my pot over there. I was in such a rush to get ready. Pro-Life Traveller, is he the Eastern European guy? Is that who you're talking about? I don't know what nationality is. He's Polish or Russian or something. He says risque things to young girls and that walking around. Satoshi, I think success in the field comes down to if you've got a goof Filipina or not. If you do, it looks good. If you don't, there are better countries to live. Your choice of partner will make a big difference without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah, that is a big part of it. But it depends what you call a better country to live. I mean, because it depends what you're looking for. I mean, a lot of people, you know, they will say this is a third world country. I think it's a third world country. I think it's an emerging economy. So because of that, there are a lot of drawbacks because of that, but there are also benefits in the sense that, you know, the more modernized the country gets, the better the infrastructure gets and all those good things, the stricter it gets in terms of the rules being enforced and the more you can, the less you can do, etc., etc. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. Hold on, I've got another message coming here. If that makes sense to you at all. So, you know, I like the fact that you don't really, you may have to worry about the electricity, you may have to worry about the water, but after a while you don't worry about it because it doesn't really matter. You know, it's like, you know, if the water goes off for a few hours, we've got water cooler and that, you know, still got water to be able to drink with. You know, the worst case scenario is you just, you know, you just get some water out the thing and you shower like that. You know, it's not the end of the world. It's just irritating when it's like, you know, the shower's gone off while you're covered with soap. That's the first time it's happened. But yeah, if you get what I'm saying, it's like, you know, there aren't really any rules here. You feel very free here. You know, I wear a helmet when I go out on the bike, but you know, if I didn't, it wouldn't be a problem. You know, but I don't want to end up in hospital. So what I'm saying to you is, you know, there are very, you know, there is a sense of freedom here. There are rules. There are certain times places should close. There are certain times this should happen. That they don't really happen. You know, they pass laws, and people say, "Have you seen this law?" And that they're not enforced. You know, so I like the sense of freedom, and I like the fact that they're the kind of things I like. I like the community here. I like the fact it's so relaxed here. I like the fact that nothing matters here in the sense of the rules and things like that. I like the fact that you learn to appreciate the small things, you know. You know, and that's what I like, and that's why I like it. You know, you don't get that. You don't get that in Thailand anymore. It's become more regimental as time has gone on. You do not feel as free there. You know, in the Philippines, it's a law unto itself. But if you don't appreciate those kind of things, if you're more occupied with, you know, not having brownouts and, you know, you want things done and you don't like the chaos, because a lot of people don't like the chaos on the road. They'll be complaining, why don't the police do this? Why don't the police do that? I'm the opposite. I love the fact that you don't have to worry about being stopped and all the rest of it. But anyway, that's just me. Don't worry, man. Don't mess around with wound infections here. Many foreigners have died from sepsis here. Yes, that is exactly right. That's what I'm saying. It is, yeah, I do know of a couple of people. They weren't actually friends of mine, but they were friends of friends who died just before I got here. A couple of people have died of sepsis. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying to Billy. I'm sure you'll be fine, Billy, but yeah, you really don't. You don't want to muck around with, it's, God, I wish people had stopped messaging me. This is ridiculous. Um, Don't worry, Croatia. His name is Sim. I thought you would like him. Uh, no, I don't like him. I don't like him at all. But I say I don't like him. I haven't watched him. So what does it mean? What does it mean by that? I think I've seen him one time when he was walking around doing Dumagetti. I think I watched it for a few minutes. But I was talking to a friend of mine a couple of months later, and he was telling me about the channel, and he was saying the kind of things he did and the kind of things he said. And I thought, nah, that's not my kind of guy. So based on that, I never bothered watching him. And I did a vlog a while back about, you know, the new laws that they were bringing in the Philippines, or the new enforcement of the guidelines regarding vlogging. And I'm not joking, about 85% of the people in the comments were like, well, I hope they get pro-life. I hope they get him. I hope they kick him out. I hope this, blah, blah, blah. So, I mean, yeah. So, in fairness, I don't like him based on what other people have said. That might be a bit harsh. But as I've said many times, I don't watch other vlogs. I've sometimes watched Brent's Chippings channel. I should watch Paul's Asian Adventure more. But, you know, unless I know the people who are doing the vlogs, unless they're friends, I don't really bother, because, you know, there's not, and this is going to sound arrogant now, there's nothing they can really tell me, you know, in the sense of I'm living here. I used to watch them religiously before I came over to get information. But now, the time I've got to watch vlogs and stuff like that, I watch stuff in the UK. You know, I watch the news and all that kind of thing. I just never get stimulated to watch a vlog on, you know, someone in the Philippines. But and because I'm like that, that's why I get surprised sometimes, you know, when so many people who seem to be living here a long time are watching my channel and getting upset and arguing. I'm thinking, well, you know, I'm glad you are watching it. It's good for the viewing figures. But I was thinking, why? You know, why are you watching my cost of living videos? If you live here, you know how much it costs to live here. You know what your costs are. So it surprises me that. But no, anyway, that was a long way of saying, no, I haven't watched him. So I don't really know him. But as I say, I was put off from watching him based on some of the things people were saying. Satoshi, careful now. Ellen is listening. Adam Fente, couldn't agree more. Peace and freedom are high priorities for me. But there you go, man. That's what I love about it. You know what I mean? And it is. I was going to say, it would all sound people to think you're mad, but you also learn to appreciate the little things here. You know, things used to stress me out, and a lot of people come here and they will stress them out and they'll end up leaving. I've got to the stage now. I mean, I was a bit irritated today, but that's gone. I'm just grateful the water's back on. It changes your perspective. There is very little that happens now where I don't think, you know, I just don't care. It's like, you know, as I was saying to a guy I met the other day who's moved in, he said, does this not bother you about it? And I said, I couldn't give a shit, to be honest with you. You know, it's like, it doesn't really matter. You know, got all the time in the world. It has really, the Philippines has taught me to appreciate the smaller things in life and just to enjoy it, you know, live for the moment. Now, I learned to think that way in Thailand because they live in the now. So I was kind of programmed to that before I came here, if you know what I mean. But the fact you've got the community and the people, so like when there were problems in the village of that before, anyway, I'm rambling on. But you get what I mean? It's like, you know, I think you're either built for the Philippines or you're not. And if you are built for the Philippines, you'll find out very soon. And if you're built for the Philippines and you meet the right partner, as I have done, the love of my life, then you'll last here. If you're not built for the Philippines and you haven't found the right partner, you won't last very long. And if you have found the right partner, but you're not built for the Philippines, you may struggle anyway. That's the way I look at it. Don't worry, man. You like the no roosters in the subdivision rule. LOL. No, that is true. I do like that. I do like that. I think he's got one back now. When we had the water pump today, there was one. It looked like one to me, and it made a little thing, but I don't care if he's got one. You know, it's. I just thought 12 was excessive, but he's definitely not happy with me. Every time I see him, he kind of gives me a look like that. I thought he might be fiddling with our water tank, but I don't think it was. But anyway, yeah, I do like that rule. I do like that rule. But yeah, I mean, if you want rules, that's why I've got no interest in living in condominiums, because or apartments, whatever you want to call them, condos, apartments. Because I know a few people have lived in, well, a few in Dumaguete, and I was talking to a Norwegian guy the other day who was going to move into Patrick's place next door, and he used to live in a condo in Cebu, and he was saying it drove him nuts because you've got all these bloody rules with these, you know, a shame he didn't move in actually, because he was a nice guy. I think I'd get on with him. Mind you, I get on with the new guy, Sammy, who's moved in. But he was saying like how there's rules, like, you know, you get a note, you can't leave your shoes outside the house today. You got to do this. You got to put your washing on that side. It just drove him nuts. He said, you know, he lived in a regimental country like Norway, and Norway and Sweden are quite regimental. in terms of you've got these housing committees and things in the apartments. He came to the Philippines to escape all that. Said he'd never live in another condo again. So when these people say, like in the comments, get yourself up to a high rise in Blarton, no, not interested at all in doing that. Billy, Glass of Finger, I've heard that the rules say only 2 people on a bike. Well, tell that to the families of 5 on a bike. Yeah, they are the rules. Only 2. Yeah. I mean, how many people do you see on there? I mean, that's a rule I won't break. That's been the stuff of arguments myself and Ellen. Because sometimes she wants me to take Kayla on it, but I don't. I've done it a couple of times, a few hundred meters, but I don't like doing it because I don't want to endanger a kid. You know what I mean? But yeah, I like the fact there's no rules. I like the fact that if you do get stopped and you've done something wrong, you can probably get out of it quite easily, if you know what I mean. Glass of Finger, okay. Broad secret antibiotic in the morning. That was yeah, I would, mate. Oh, Jack Star. Jack is in the house. That's for your water bill. Thank you, Jack. Totally unnecessary. You made a hell of an entrance. Appreciate it, mate. How are you, Jack? How is your back? What is happening in the world of Jack Star? Glass of Finger. Hey, Jack Star. Oh, can I show you guys something? I forgot that. Look what Billy sent me. I'm armed with my jar of Marmite now. So in the next few days, or the next week or so, I will be making a Marmite video. You'll either love it or you'll hate it. You see what I did there? Filipino. I've just got to think of a title for that. I might go down the pro-life travellers route for it. She didn't swallow. Something like the Filipino swallow or something like that. I don't know. I think I've got to put Marmite in the title because otherwise people will get there. But anyway, there we are. Thanks for that, Billy. Much appreciated. Jack Star, hiya, pal. Hope everyone is all good. Well, we're all the better now you're here, Jack. It's been nice because we've got a few new guys who have joined tonight from some interesting places around the world, Australia and Ireland. But it's never the same without you, Jack. The only person we're missing now is Jim. And we haven't had Tim for a while, have we? Tim hasn't been here for a while. I wonder if he's still coming in January. Jack Star, hit the like, share the love. Hey, you couldn't go up any higher in my estimations, but you do, Jack. You're going through the roof. Thanks, mate. Hope it works. 17 people and 11 likes. Much appreciated. You are my PR man, Jack. Adam Fenton, hey, Jack Star. Jack Star, Adam Fenton, I'm not going to say anything about crypto. Is it, well, can't ask if you're not going to say anything about it. I haven't looked since the last time when it had lost, was it 30%? Is it still dropping? I saw something today about the potential European action against America, a financial strike. I've only seen it on one site, a potential thing that could happen in the next couple of weeks, but I didn't like the look of it because I don't think it's going to do anything for anyone's stocks and shares. Has anyone seen that? Glass of Finger, mending, but getting anti-B in the morning so everyone will stop telling me off. I have stopped telling you off. I have stopped telling you off. I just gave you some friendly advice in our messages. It's others who are telling you you're going to get sepsis, mate. Because we love you, Billy. We care about you. You're a valued member of our community. We want you to live a long, happy and prosperous life. Backstar, ouch. Why? What you done? He came off his bike, mate. The old gravel burns. Adam Fente, Jack Star. Tide may be turning, but I'm still waiting on Santa to deliver my crypto Christmas. Let's skip this week as well. Well, if the stock markets do crash, as this site was predicting, what does that do to crypto? Does crypto go up to balance it? I mean, I know gold and silver traditionally go up, but if there is a manoeuvred crash, what happens to crypto? Or do you not know? Don't worry, man. He wanted to mess around with your water tank. It would have dog shit floating in it. Yeah, you're probably right. Or one of our dog's heads. Yeah. Dave Mintz, can you buy antibiotics from chemist pharmacy without prescription? You can in some of them. You're not supposed to, but there are several in Dumagetti where you can do. But there's like clinics you can go into as well. I mean, it depends on the thing, but yeah, they're not too hard to get hold of. I know of. I think you just got to go to one of the independent ones rather than one of the bigger ones like Mercury or Southern or what, you know, like the main ones over here. Watson's, I think you probably struggle. But mind you, even I know a guy, mate, I know an accident and he had these strong painkillers, which he got from the doctors, and he went down to Mercury and they said you need a prescription for that. And he's like, why? And you showed him the pictures. He said, look, I've got a packet, I've already had them. They gave them to him. So, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. It's like I say, the rules here are flexible. Why I love the place. Adam Fente, that would be nice. Jackstar, Simon New Bins. No, what they are, my vanity is kicked in, you see. They're that pair that were left here by the landlord. But I don't wear them much because they're just reading glasses. But I wore them the other day for a vlog and I got some compliments in the channel saying, my God, I love your new glasses. They look so much better. They make you look younger. So now I'm wearing them because I'm a bit of a narcissist. You know what I mean? If I get a compliment, talking of which, how tall do you guys think I am? And how old do you think I am? The reason I say this is I went out the other night after the Monday night quiz has finished, which we won. And not only did we win the quiz, I never publicised this, won the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire the other week as well. So we're doing all right on the quiz front. But yeah, I went afterwards, went down to a place called the Break After. What's it? The Ocean Break Time. It's not a bar that I often go to. It's predominantly an American bar down at the North Point. But I went to see a friend. Anyway, I went down there. I showed my face. I know some guys that drink in there. And a subscriber came over who'd been watching the channel for a long time. Can't remember his name. I was a bit worse for wear. And he said to me, my God, you are I Shepherd's Pie. I said, yeah. He said, wow, you look so much different in the flesh. You look so much healthier. You're so much bigger than I thought you were. And I'm like, well, how big do you think I was? And he wouldn't shut up about it. He kept saying, he said, mate, you've got to sort your camera out. He didn't say mate, he was an American guy. He said, but change your lens. He said, you look so good in the flesh. You look so healthy. I had no idea you were so big. And it's been playing on my mind. So I'm wearing his glasses. I think, well, how bad do I look on the video then? I mean, do I look like a midget? Do I look unhealthy? Anyway, there you go. I told Ellen when I got back, I thought this is playing on my mind. And he wasn't taking the piss. He was being genuine. He said, you look nothing in the flesh. You look like nothing like you do, you know, when you make your videos and your lives. Anyway, there you go. Adam Fente, I had a similar reflection after my first long stay in the fields. It reset what I actually value in life. For me, good water pressure, good coffee, good food, good Wi-Fi, and positive people. That's what you value in life, yeah. Yeah, I see. I've got quite, you know. See, I've adapted to the Philippines. My neighbour, the new guy that moved in, Sammy, the other day, he was having problems with his cooker, and he asked me to come around and have a look at it. So I went round to have a look. It was one of those induction cookers, and he didn't realise that if you take the tops off the thing, that it just cuts out. So I was telling him that, but he said, would you like a coffee? And I looked, and there he had one of those French presses where he was making his fresh ground coffee. And I thought, yeah, I don't need things like that. I used to religiously, I only ever drunk filtered coffee, real coffee in the UK. And I'd have a glass of wine. I'd have wine with every meal. I don't drink wine anymore since I've been here. I just drink the cheap instant coffee. You know what I mean? I've adapted to the Philippines. You know, the things that I, took for granted. The point is, you know what I mean? It's like if you need those things, if you're trying to recreate your life in the West, and the things that Adam are talking about are really important to you, then you're going to struggle here. But they really don't mean anything to me. You know, it's like, I like to go out and have a nice meal in the evening. But during the day, I don't care as long as the coffee's wet and warm. I'll drink it. You know, I don't really bother about food. What I eat, I eat just to feed my hunger. I never spend like half an hour cooking or doing whatever. You know, that's why we eat out so much, But, if I was one of those guys who, like a lot of them do, a lot of the Americans, I know, they go for the coffee shop and have cake and do all that and things, and I'd have much more living cup. But I just can't be bothered. Yeah, I do like a good cup of coffee, but not enough to go for the rigmarole of struggling to source it and, make it and all that. Anyway, I don't know. I've gone on too long. Jack Star, back is in a good place. Plenty of stretching down at farm. Busy. What is your thing? Why is your back good? Have you put that down to a reason? Is it the yoga? Just haven't aggravated it? Do you think you've turned a corner? I mean, what are your theories? I'm delighted to hear that it is good. It's been good for a couple of weeks now, hasn't it? And long may that continue. But what do you put that down to, mate? Glass of finger. Has Glenn been in touch? Oh, in touch. Yeah, I've been talking to Glenn. I say it's one of those things. I really don't know what I can say without betraying a confidence. You know what I mean? It's not. I kind of alluded to him. Can I tell people? I don't know. Yeah, I have been talking to him. He's trying to keep himself busy, so that's why he's not really coming a lot. He's doing a lot of projects around the house. He's seeing a consultant next week. He'll know some more then. That's all I'm going to say on it. I hope you understand that's why, because I don't know what he would want me to say. But yes, I have been in touch with him. Brian Barrick, 1401. Hi from Durban, South Africa. Well, hi, Brian. Nice to meet you, mate. Welcome on board. What's the word on the street in South Africa? What's the time in South Africa now? Plastered finger, touch. I'm getting confused now. Jack Star, crypto is a funny game. Not sure it directly in line with the stocks and shares. I feel like what's just happened, massive losers quickly and bigger jumps. Yeah, well, I did read when I read the article it had lost. I know it said it lost 30%, but it was still up 2% overall over the last 12 months. But the predictions were that it would be back to where it was within the next 6 months. But I was watching a vlog today, which I'm not into conspiracy theories. But I think probably if this was true, it would be covered by other vlogs. But this channel, I can't remember what it's called. It's a couple of women. They talk about American politics and things. And they seem to think that if this view, I say, don't quote me on this, I'm not into conspiracy theories. But as I say, I've watched them a few times over the last year, and they've always been, they're not been conspiracy peddlers. They've always been quite up to date. Everything they've said has been quite factual. But they're the only ones I've heard say this. And their suggestion was that there's been reporting that if America was to walk away, in the Russian deal, and they were basically to give over to Putin and say, right, we're not providing anything for the Ukrainians anymore, and as far as we're concerned, we're going to recognize the Donbass, etc., and sign this big financial deal which the Americans and the Russians are going to benefit of. They seem to think that there's reporting now that that will be the end of it for Europe in terms of with America, that they are going to go it alone. But the reason Europe hasn't been reacting to, as aggressive as they could in terms of the sanctions and things is because they wanted to keep America on board in terms of Ukraine. But if they are to walk away, and it is to be as a severe walk away as the Americans suggesting, that there's an agreement between all the major European countries that they're just going to dump all their American credit stock, because they bought in, like they got vast sums of investment in American credit, that they will just dump it all, and it won't be an EU action because Hungary and that would block it. It will just, there's an agreement between the major economies. They didn't say whether the UK was part of it, that they're just going to dump it and basically hit America very hard financially, and basically go their own way. Now, as I say, if that's true, I just wonder what that's going to do to my stocks and shares, and I wonder what the ramifications are. I don't know if it's true, but it got me thinking, if that does happen and the stock market crashes, is that a good time to get into crypto? I don't know anyway. But maybe it's bullshit. I was surprised to hear them saying that. Don't worry, man. A doctor visit here to get a valid script is only 500, 600 pesos. Yeah, but it's not that, is it? It's, I mean, it's not why a lot of people go direct to the pharmacy. It's not the price. It's like, do you go to the hospital or whatever and wait for a couple of hours to see a doctor to get a prescription to go to a pharmacy, or do you just go to the pharmacy and say, can I have some antibiotics for this? Now, the last couple of guys I know who've done it, they had medical backgrounds, so they knew what antibiotic they wanted. And I mean, you would imagine if the guy in the pharmacy, I mean, pharmacists have some qualifications, so I don't think it's the 500, 600 pesos that puts people off. It's just the hassle of going and waiting and seeing a doctor and look just for him to tell you to go and get some acetamol or something like that, when you can just go into certain ones here and just pick up the acetamol. Anyway, but I'm not advocating anyone does that. I'm just saying that seems to be the thinking why people bypass the doctors and just do that. Mind you, I know a guy, I won't mention his name, he had an accident a while back, nearly cut his foot off, got hit by a trike, and he did not want to go to the hospital for various reasons I won't go into, because he was worried that, anyway, I'm not going to go into those reasons, but I'm not joking, I thought he was going to lose his leg. But he literally super glued the injury together, stayed in his bed for about 2 months. People bought him antibiotics, and you had people doing runs going up to the pharmacy and bringing him food and things. And I thought it was madness. I thought he was going to die, but he was worried he'd be in trouble for something. Anyway, I'm not going to go into the details. But he's fine now. He's running around, and my God, that was a deep gash. You could see the bone. It was awful. He'd say he'd gone past the trike, and a piece of metal had been sticking out of the trike, and the trike had cut into him, and it nearly cut his foot off. And when I saw it, I was like, I went round to, he was staying at a place, the restaurant I went to, and he was staying in a place that was part of the restaurant. And I said, is he still living? I said, yeah, why don't you go and see him? So he said, he's not very well. So I went and saw him. My God, I couldn't believe it. I said, mate, you got to go to hospital, you're going to die. And he's like, no, I'll be all right. I've glued it on. What do you mean you glued it on? But anyway, and I spoke to a few people. I said, how's he getting on? He said, oh, he's still bedridden, but he thinks he's going to be all right. He seems to be on the med. And I'm thinking, anyway, but he's okay now. But God, I wouldn't do that. I don't care how much trouble I thought I was going to get into. Jack Star, I'd say, yeah, looking good in those bins. I'd say 5'10", and you are 53. Well, I'm 6 foot. Although when I told him I was 6 foot, the other guys in the bar wouldn't believe it. They said, no, you're at least 6'1", because one of them said he's 6 foot and I'm taller than him. I'm not. I know I'm 6 foot. And anyway, so there you go. I'm 6 foot, and you're right. I am 53. Yeah, I was surprised by that guy saying that. I really was, because I personally think I look the same in the videos as I do in real life. But obviously not. I know I look paler than this camera, but yeah, I don't know. I thought he was taking the piss off it, but he kept saying it. Mind you, it wasn't a particularly warm night, so I was wearing my Lacoste hoodie, and that probably made me look a bit, a bit bigger, in terms of like physique. So maybe that for him. So maybe I was a bit taller than he thought. I wasn't as pale, and I probably looked a bit bigger in terms, because I was wearing the hoodie. Don't worry, I think you're 5'6", 5'7", and about 55. Well, no, I'm 6 foot, or 6'1", as some would say, and I'm 53. Thank you for aging me by 2 years. But then the camera does, and the camera puts on £10 as well, they say, don't they? Why does everyone think I'm so short? There you go. Yeah, not 5'6". You're having a laugh, and you. Mind you, that makes sense now because there was one guy. There was a troll. He was very annoying when I was over in Sicky Hall, and he started. He started leaving comments, and a couple of times said, "Calm down, Shorty. Watch yourself, Shorty." And like I said to him one day, I said, "What? I don't understand why you're calling me Shorty." And he said, "Because you're such a short ass." And I said, "No, I'm not. I'm above average height. I'm not particularly tall, but I'm not. I'm not short." I said, "Yeah, I know you're a short ass." I said, "All right, whatever." Anyway, I said, "Mate, I'm 6 foot." That is not short. It's not tall either, but I'm not a short ass. But anyway, I made a few cutting comments back at him. Typical troll couldn't take it, and he disappeared from the channel. And I've never seen him again. But I couldn't work out why he thought I was so short. And I thought, well, maybe it's because when I did the beach bums, I was sat next to Paul, and Paul's 6'4", and he's he must be 24, 25 stone. So maybe sat next to him doing the beach bums, I look smaller. But oh, sweetie, I'm so glad to see you happy again. I am truly sorry for earlier on. Elam. You're telling me Elam, shut up. But oh, sweetie, look, she can't stop smiling. She's smiling now. I told you, she can't laugh. She cannot. It is impossible for her to be angry with me for more than half an hour. God bless her. Yeah. Now go and make me my dinner, woman. Adam Fenner, yeah, I agree. Those frames have much better style. They're good. Well, I will do that then. See, the trouble is, I don't want to get any more glasses over here because the last ones I got are crap. So I may get some in the UK and get friends or family to send them over there because I usually get my glasses from I can't remember what they call them now. Glasses Direct. I think they're really good. I've got loads of glasses from them because I'm damned if I'm going to go to another place here because they were awful, the last glasses I got. They were fine for a little while, but after about, they just scratched and the lenses started losing. Now, after 4 months, they were screwed. Well, I've got glasses from Glasses Direct, which are still like, 2 years old and they're still okay. But the trouble is when you get them online, you know what they look like. But I had a little look, but the point is what I'm getting at is I'll get some this style then. Because I used to generally get the ones without much of a frame. But then again, I never used to like this type of frame. And there were quite a few frames like this in town, but I was avoiding them. But now you guys have boosted my confidence, which I'm very happy for. I may take a little stroll down to the opticians and see if I can get some more frames like this. See, I honestly don't like them, but Ellen loves them. So now you've said that, and at the end of the day, I mean, why do we wear things? We wear things because we want to look good for other people. So I'm going to listen to all you guys, and this could be the way forward for me. There you go. Mind you, if I wasn't wearing these, maybe, mate, you wouldn't have said I was 55. Jack Star. All I'm saying, Casper, he might have something there. I'm confused now. All I'm saying, Casper, is he might have something there. Okay, Jack. Please expand on that. Jack Star, Brian Barrett, 401. Hey, pal, and welcome. Yes, welcome, Brian. Tell us some more about what's going on in South Africa. Carl Sebastian, message retracted. Why did you do that? What did you say? Jack Star, I think my back is good to the more stretching. I think the physio set me back a few months. Yeah, well, there you go. You see, yeah, you might be onto something then. I had a mate, an older guy I was friends with back in the UK, and he had broken his neck, and he had pain problems, and the doctors then told you a couple of times, said, don't stay away from physio, stay away from chiropractors, they'll kill you, because he had a thing that right or wrong. It's what I'm saying is the doctors, when I went to see the doctors with him, because I was kind of looking after him, they were stay away from all that kind of stuff. And the suggestion was that sometimes physios can do more harm than good. Obviously not all the time. Anyway, what I'm getting at is, yeah, maybe that's what you need. Maybe the yoga. I've never heard anyone say a bad thing about yoga. We should start doing yoga. What do you think, sweetie? Do we start doing yoga? You've got the mat. Oh, she's giving me a dirty look again now. She's forgotten. Bless her. She's like a goldfish. She's gone out there forgetting, and she's forgotten that she's not angry with me anymore. Now she's come back and she's angry again. And now she's not. She's laughing again. There we go. It's
Leave me alone, good.
Leave you alone, good. What does that mean? Leave you alone, good.
Good is a Filipino.
Well, no, it's an English word. How's your chicken, sweetie?
Let me be.
Let you be. Let you be what? Let you be happy? I'm trying to. Carl Esteban, my abuela grandmother used a coffee sock to filter brew coffee.
Yeah.
That was back in the 1960s. Which prison was that? Yeah, I'm sure you could do all sorts of things with that, but yeah, that doesn't sound. So presumably, if that was back in the 60s, you must have had like local coffee then. I didn't know they did Filipino coffee. That's one of the things we're looking forward to in Vietnam. I am looking forward to having some nice Vietnamese coffee. I used to like Cambodian coffee in Cambodia, funnily enough. But when I was in the UK, last time I was back for a period of time, I was very much, it was the Colombian. I was on either on Colombian or Cambodian. They were my two, can't remember what they were. I used to like the, I can't remember, it was a fair trade. It was something fair trade. It was to get it from Asda. But it was Colombian. They did 5, but it was strength 3 or strength 4 Colombian, Cambodian. But I really like that. Maybe I should get a French press and start making coffee. Brian Bariak, thank you. Time 1356 in South Africa. Beautiful country, but a lot of crime. Yeah, I have heard that. I have heard that. I think it depends where you live, though, doesn't it? But yeah, I've heard a lot of horror stories of friends who've gone over there and said it's an incredibly dangerous place. But Ewan, who owns Sideways, the owner there, he when I told him that, he said it's greatly exaggerated. It depends where you are. He reckons where he lives or lived before, it's actually quite safe. But he said some places are very dangerous, but some places are still very safe. So I don't know. I'm just going by what he said, and he's South African. But yeah, I have heard. To be honest with you, I had a friend who went there, and he was sat on it. He told me a story. One day he was sat like on a beach or on a bench looking out, and he'd left the hotel and he'd gone there and he was sitting there, and this guy came up to him and said, "What the hell are you doing here?" And he said, "Well, I'm sitting down watching." It was either the sunrise or the sunset. And guy showed him, he had a gun in his jacket and said, "Look, I'm a policeman." I showed him his ID and showed him his gun and said, "Look, you can't be here. This is incredibly dangerous for you. You need to go back to the hotel. The hotel shouldn't have let you come down on it." And he said it was just a beach. There was no one about. And the guy this copper was walking with his wife. And he said, "Look, I will watch you back to your hotel. But don't come out here again. You need security if you're going to come out here. It's very dangerous. You could be killed, kidnapped, all sorts of stuff." And that, funnily enough, put him off the holiday. He thought, "Well, sod this." And when he told me that, he said, because this was just, I can't remember which city it was, but it was just like, it was just the promenade by the beach, a few hundred meters away from his hotel. So, yeah, that made me think, well, that's not a place I really want to go to. But when I told Ewan that story, he was like, "No, that's just certain." He didn't say, "No, that's just certain places in South Africa. That's not the whole country." Not a great accent, was it? Satoshi Yokomoto, Europe put themselves in a weak position and now they are paying the price. Okay. Yeah, well, yeah, there's some truth to that. Adam Fente, wait, you're 6 foot. Honest to God, from the vlogs, I thought you would have been no taller than 5'7". Yeah, everyone thinks I'm short, Ella. What is it? Why does the camera make me look short? It explains a lot now. I was telling them about that guy the other night, when I went to the break time, saying how much bigger I looked in flesh. And I said, "How tall do you think I am?" And they all thought I was little. There you go. Wow. I know the camera was supposed to put a few pounds on you. I didn't think it was supposed to make you look smaller. Plaster finger. That's a strange thought. Europe and China fighting Russia and Trump in Ukraine. I wonder where Chile and Venezuela will go. We live in strange times, mate. It's quite unbelievable what's going on in the world at the moment with our American brothers. But only time will tell. But there is something very wrong with their relationship with Putin. I mean, that's obvious for the whole world to see. Sammy V40. Love the show, mate. Well, thank you, Sammy. My heart soars like an eagle. It is fantastic to hear that. Satoshi Yakamoto. Hi, Ellen. She's not sure whether to be angry. I'm going to say hello. Are you going to say hi, Ellen? She's got a mouthful of food. She'll say hi in a minute. She'll shout it out. She might even stand behind me and do a happy dance. Adam Fente, nothing better in life than a smiling Filipina. I don't know. I don't know any. Are you going to say hi now?
Just let me.
Shout hi.
Hi.
There we go. She's as high as a kite. The plastered finger 5942. Hi to the lovely Ellen. Dave Mintz, those specs make you look taller. Scott Geen is in the house. Jack Star, for backline on the floor, put your legs on chair for 20 minutes. It stretched your back muscles from Scott, New Zealand. Scott Geen, hey Simon, hope you're well, Scott Geen, New Zealand. Jack Star, as in you look like Casper the Ghost on camera. No, well, I thought that, to be honest with you, afterwards I thought, does he mean Casper the Ghost? It was the smiling eyes and the hearts that got me. I thought you were talking, maybe the guy, I'd said the other guy's name was Casper. Here now, yeah, Casper the Friendly Ghost. What was that film with Kevin Costner? Perfect World, with that little boy dressed as Casper the Ghost. That is a good film, that is. Don't worry, man. Vietnam Arabica is my choice. It's slightly nutty with hints of chocolate. Yeah, I will try that. Jack Star. Yeah, I do relax like that now and again. Cheers, pal. Jay Roden. Haven't been on YouTube for a while. That's a nice place. Well, thank you. Bar's open if anyone would like a drink. Welcome back, Jay. Why haven't you been on YouTube for a while? What have you been up to? Preoccupied? Been away? What's the story? Morning glory. Scott Geen, Jack Star. Try yoga for back. Good luck. He is trying yoga for luck. That's what we were talking about. He's been doing yoga for a while now. Art Park Garden, blimey, look at what the cat dragged in. What? I've been here all along. Jay Roden, move countries. Jay Roden, Taiwan to Australia. Well, that's a jump. What made you do that? Work? Change of pace? Tell us more. 2 countries I've never been to. I've never been to Taiwan and never been to Australia. We might try Taiwan. It is the closest country, I think, if you fly from Manila. I mean, I think there are other countries closer to our part of the Philippines, but you can't fly internationally from Dumaguete. So I think I've looked before, and if you're flying from Manila, Taiwan or Taipei is the closest flight. So I have said to Ella, maybe we'll go there for a weekend at some stage. I don't really fancy going there longer. I don't think I'm gonna. I don't know. You never know until you try. But certain places you get excited about trying. I'm excited about going to Vietnam. Taipei, I think it would just be to leave the country within 6 months and just have a weekend away or something. I don't think. I don't know. Maybe we'll get there and we'll get it. But anyway, it is somewhere we think they're going. Jack Star, hit the like, share the love, and Ellen will say hi. Yes. If we get up to 20 likes, Ellen will do a handstand. Won't you, my sweet? You lump, she says. There we go. Not work, Jack. Oh, we got 16. Tell you what, start getting your wrists limbered up. You might have to do a handstand. Can you do a handstand?
I don't even know what that is.
A handstand where you know,
Like
you
it's not
the
a
cartwheel.
cartwheel, but
yeah,
there's no way I would do that. I will break my bones.
break your bones. What are you talking about? You're a sprite young thing. You'll be fine.
No, that's not
Um,
true.
Jay Roden, my kids were hitting conscription age. Oh, do they have conscription in Taiwan, do they? What happens then if you leave the country then? Because I had some friends, Italian friends, when I was living in London, and they when we were at school, and they couldn't go back to Italy for a little while because they would have had to have done national service. So they couldn't go back until I think it was. I might get this wrong. I think it was like 5 years after the national service period had finished. Then you were okay. So what I'm saying is, you've moved to Australia to get away from the conscription. But if they were to go back, does that mean they would be grabbed by potentially forced to do it? How does that work? Art Park Garden. When do you head to Vietnam? Not long now, mate. We're going there for Christmas. So we are leaving on the 23rd. Jay Roden is a great place to explore for sure. Well, we might try then. It's anyone who watches the channel know I have a I am not a fan of China. I do not have a good relationship with the People's Republic of China. And I know Taiwan is an enemy of China. I know they're very different, but when I was in China, I wasn't blown away by the food and all the rest of it. So I kind of think, although Taiwan is very different in terms, it's a much freer place, and they've got a big thing going with it. I just kind of think it might be a bit like China in terms of the food and the culture and that kind of thing. And that's not really my thing, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't want to offend anyone. It's just China kind of put me off going anywhere, put me off Mongolia and Taiwan and all the rest of it. Maybe we'll try it. Maybe we'll try it. Maybe it'll be an eye opener and I'll be blown away by how good it is. I hope I haven't offended you by saying that. I'm just because I'm guessing you're Taiwanese. Dave Minskip, don't look after their dogs in Taiwan. Well, there aren't many places in Southeast Asia they do look after dogs. That's the thing I'm worrying about going to Vietnam, because they eat I think it's like 4 million dogs a year or something in Vietnam. Now, I know they're not going to be serving the dogs in the restaurants. I get that. It's like in Cambodia, they eat dogs over there. But in all the time I was in Cambodia, I never saw it. You have to go to special restaurants. But I don't want to see dogs being transported. I don't like it when I see pigs being transported over here. It makes me sad. It would ruin my holiday if I saw a truck full of dogs all pressed together or something like that, or a place selling dog meat. I remember I was watching.
Wait, is it legal there?
Yes.
In Vietnam?
Yes. It's legal in a lot of countries. It's legal in South Korea. They eat dogs in South Korea. They eat dogs in Laos. They eat dogs in China. They eat dogs. It's legal in lots of Asian countries.
There's no way.
Ellen's saying there's no way. Yes, there is a huge way. Yeah, I was watching. I can't remember. Bald and Bankrupt. He went to Vietnam. He was driving around. He literally he was driving around Ho Chi Minh City. He said, "Oh God, they've got some dogs hanging up there, and there was a Yorkshire Terrier on a hook, dead, just still in the fur and that you could buy, and buy these whole dogs like you buy cows over here. Yeah, I don't want to see that. Anyway, I'm sure in a place like District 1, a tourist place, I'm sure you won't see that there. I'm hoping not anyway. Art Park Garden, a lovely Ellen. Now, who is that? Taiwan has a special rule. If you get out before 15, you don't have to be put on the conscription registry. Okay, so your kids are young then. Right, so it's not that they're avoiding, it's not like they go because they don't want to get called up. If they leave before they're 15, then they don't get called up in the first place. Okay. And how long is conscription for? If they stayed, how long is that for? Is it a couple of years?
What is conscription?
Sorry?
Military
conscription. Yeah, you have to join. Used to do it in the UK years ago. It's called national service. You had to go and do 2 years. It's a lot of countries have
Is
that.
it mandatory?
Yes, that's what I said. It's called conscription. Yeah, conscription means mandatory. Yeah, you have to. I mean, you can get. I think you can get out of it. It's certain things if you're studying at university or whatever. But anyway, they don't have it now. But some countries still do. Some European countries still have it. It's a way of bolstering the army, isn't it? It means you've always got a certain number of
I
people
thought
if
it
there's a
only
war.
happens in Korea.
No, lots of countries do it. In Taiwan, I mean, a country like Taiwan, it's always worried it's going to be invaded by China, isn't it? So it needs to keep its numbers up. Anyway, I'm doing this. This is what we call a live stream. And I'd love to chat with you. But it's nice you're talking to me again. It wasn't so long you
See
weren't
this line?
talking to me.
There's a line here. Oh,
But
yeah.
Jack Star, Jay Roden, welcome, pal. Yeah, Jay Roden. Yeah, I told them they can choose to return if they want to. I don't want to force them into it. That's fair. That's a good way of doing it, mate. The Art Park Garden. There's no lovely Ellen. Actually, she's a ghost, isn't she?
I was alone.
I wouldn't say she's a bit of a witch from time to time, but not really a ghost. Talking of which, I hid her broomstick the other day. She got very upset.
What?
I hid your broomstick. Jack Star, Art Park Garden. Oh, very funny. Love it. There we go, Jay Roden. Yeah, well, if you were there the other week, Jack, I can't spell Art Chair. She was with me on one of the live streams. We did it for our anniversary. We sat there together. Didn't say much, didn't contribute much, but she was there physically there. Not she was present, but not spiritually or mentally. But she looked paler than I did. Jay Roden, yeah, northern Taiwan is more like China and richer, and southern Taiwan is more like local Taiwan. Okay. Jay Roden, after the war, the Chinese government moved to North Taiwan, so it's like the rich financial area. I'm guessing Taipei is in the north, is it? I'm not. That's in northern Taiwan. I'm not great when it comes to geography, I must admit. The Art Park Garden, Ellen, lovely Ellen, wherefore out thou? Just give them a little wave, Ellen. Give them a little wave.
My feet.
There she is. Very rude to have your
They
feet up.
can see I'm sitting like this. What have you done?
What have you done? Jay Roden, you stay on the Taiwan conscription list 18 to 36. 1 year training at 18. 18 to 36. So you do 1 year training and then you're on standby or reserve, I'm guessing. That's what that means. I was on reserve for 6 years when I left the Air Force. And it always puzzled me how they didn't take any interest in where I was. Because they never called me up, but if they had done, they'd have had trouble finding me. Not that I was dodging it or anything. It's just for some of the time I was in China. And I don't know if I was supposed to keep them informed or what was. They never explained it. The day I left the Air Force and I finished and I came and signed out, I filled in some forms. No one said, oh, you must keep in touch or you must date this or we're going to contact you from time to time to find out where you are. And I was never called up anyway, to my knowledge. But it did. I was thinking one day when someone was talking about conscription, because I can't remember which Scandinavian country had it, but they were talking about, do you have that in England? I said, I'm on a reserve. And they said, so they know you're here, do they? And I thought, no, they don't actually. So how the hell would they call me up? How does that work? And I'd moved address a couple of times. So I don't know if I was breaking the rules by not keeping them updated, but they would have had trouble calling me up. Do you know about that, Jack? Were they more explanatory with you when you left the army that you had, or were you not on reserve because you probably weren't on reserve because of your injury, were you? Because you're medical. But anyway, it's gone now. I signed up for 9 and 6, and my reserve finished a long time ago. When I was watching a thing in not Vietnam, on Ukraine the other day, the average soldier over there is 54. I don't think I could fight. I think my military days are over. The idea of being out there in the snow fighting the Russians at 54, good God. Adam Fenton, South Korea still has mandatory service, so does Singapore. Carl Sebastian, Ellen could be disembodied, could be a disembodied voice. I often think that. Joe Roden, Adam, what happens in South Korea? Do overseas Koreans have to return to do service? I didn't know Singapore. I'm surprised at Singapore. What are they worried about? South Korea makes sense, obviously, given the situation with North Korea. Jay Roden, yeah, Taipei is a northern, more Chinese Mandarin speaking finance area with more modern restaurants and so on. Well, I imagine that's where we would go, because I say I wouldn't go. I think I'd plan to go there just for a couple of days, see what it's like, and if we liked it, go back for a longer holiday. So yeah, I think we'd stay in Taipei because just be easy. I mean, you don't want to travel too far if you're only going there for a weekend. Joe Roden, I don't know about the UK, but in Taiwan has a household registry system similar to China. You're required to keep a valid address. I imagine you must be in the UK too. I just didn't bother. My defence being they didn't tell me I had to. It's not something I ever really gave any thought about. Had there been like a conflict or something about to kick off, which was serious, and I'd obviously have had to look into it. Because I wouldn't have minded going back in the first 6 years. Actually, I would have done because I was doing quite well in the old business, and that would have hit me a lot financially. But anyway, it never came to pass. But it's quite a strange setup. You know, they don't really take any interest in you when you leave. It's like they get me pension. All you got to do is because I didn't realise I got a pension until a few years back. A friend told me, and I looked into what you got to do, and all you got to do is contact them 6 months before it's due and tell them who you are and where you are, and they'll take care of it. And if you don't do that and you leave it like 2 or 3 years because you don't know or you forget, you just contact them and they backdate it. So, you know, it's strange, you know, you don't have to, you know, I've had no contact whatsoever with the RAF since the day I left in terms of updating, you know, anything. Adam Fente, I'm sure there are overseas they can defer or pay some money to get out of it, but it's mandatory for them. They wrote them, Adam, in Taiwan, if people don't want to serve, they become overweight by the time they are 18 and apply for medical exemption. Sounds like a good plan. I say, I think that I might have got this wrong, and this is secondhand information. But when I was, say, I had a couple of friends who were Sicilian, or their parents were Sicilian. And funny enough, I didn't realise it at the time, but their dads were gangsters as well. So there you go. In fact, I'll tell you that story in a minute. But as they told me, they were called up whether you were there or not. And if you didn't turn up, it was a crime and you were wanted. But after 5 years or whatever, it lapsed. So they couldn't go back to Italy during that period because if they did, I mean, let's say go back to Italy. I mean, they were born in the UK, but they had Italian passports. But if they went back, they would be arrested and they would do time, not national service, because of the fact they hadn't, you know, turned up for it. But I think it was 5 years it lapsed. That's what they told me anyway. It might be bullshit, but they were funny. They were. I won't say their names, but their parents. They had. They were old boys. Didn't speak much English. Did not look like mafia, but we always used to take the piss out of the two sons because they came from Sicily, so we always called them like the mafia. And they grew cucumbers. They had these huge greenhouses up in North Weald, which grew cucumbers and other vegetables. And they always had vegetables and things around the house, but they had a very nice house. I thought they must be doing well financially for growing cucumbers. They must be marketing that. But about 5-10 years later, I remember reading it in the paper. It had been raided and they weren't growing cucumbers at all. They were growing cannabis. And it was inside these greenhouses. And they had pictures of the two dads on the front paper. And they had strong links, according to the paper, to mafia in Sicily. It was a big fuss over it. And made me laugh because a number of times when we've been out partying and that, the two sons had got annoyed because apparently they didn't like being stereotyped and they weren't into that kind of thing. And they were both pacifists. They were quite laid back. I mean, they were, you know, that was in the pillhead days. So So they weren't, but they didn't like the fact that Italians were, particularly Sicilians, were tarred with a mafia brush. That, you know, most people weren't like that. Well, it turns out their dads were. I don't know. Maybe they didn't know. Maybe they did. Who knows? But that's a true story. That is. Art Park Garden. Perhaps she's not a ghost. In fact, she's actually a monarch. Well, she found that funny. I thought she was going to be insulted. And he has sent 32 monarchs. See, I'm a Rain Man. I can count them without even looking at them. Double check. See, I am a Rain Man like that. Jack Star 3226. Yeah, I was still on the reserve for 6 years after got paid a day wages per year. Well, I never got a day's wages per year. But they still put you on reserve even though you were medicaled out. Did you have to keep up with an address? I mean, if they ask you for that, maybe the army's more proactive. I don't know why they'd have wanted me back. I was crap. But, well, they didn't. They never called me back. But I was probably the worst RAF policeman in RAF history, to be honest with you. And I'm not saying that to be, I really was. After the 4-year part, I took very little interest in the job, shall we say. Jay Roden, Australia changed the pension rules. They cancel it if you stay out of the country for more than 6 months. Yeah, well, it depends on when you go, mate. I know a lot of people have said that. I know it can be a real problem. But I've got a mate called Ray, used to be on the channel quite a bit. And he doesn't have to go back because he retired after pension age. And when I said, is it how comes all these Aussies have got trouble and you don't? How is it you get yours? He explained to me, and it would make sense, that because he had worked his life in Australia all the way up to pension age, and then he had retired and gone overseas, he doesn't have to go back. He gets it all the time. But had he left for a few years before and come back and had gaps in his contributions, then he would be stuck with this 6 months. But isn't it, even if you do that, if you go back and live there for 2 years, then you can come over permanently, can't you? Isn't that the way you get around that? But you have to go back for 2 years. As I say, I know him. I know another Aussie, same boat, told me the same thing. Because he retired after retirement age, and because he'd lived in Australia his whole life, he doesn't have to go back for 6 months a year either. But I imagine you will be hit by it because obviously you've been living in Taiwan. Jackstar, Jay Roden, that's a disgrace. Yeah, I think it's awful. There's a guy. Do you remember Alex, who I interviewed for the channel? He was the Scottish guy, a born again Christian. I say that about the Christian bit because I think I mentioned it in the thumbnail. I saw he did because he's vlogging now. He's got his channel, and I saw his title of his video. I've been forced to leave the Philippines. So I thought, Christ, what has he done? What's happened here? And I went to it. Now he's back in New Zealand now, but he hasn't been forced to leave the Philippines by the Philippines authorities or anyone here. He's been forced by the New Zealand government because he's got to go back for 6 months each year. So he's back in New Zealand, not very happy about it. So he's going to start vlogging in New Zealand. But yeah, I think it's a ridiculous. I mean, I don't know how they justify it. I don't know how people stand for it. I mean, at the end of the day, there are elections. I mean, kick up the fuss, for God's sake. If it's your pension, you know, I mean, you should get it wherever you go. I mean, I think it's outrageous, this situation that if you come to Thailand, you get your pension. If you come to the Philippines, you get your pension in full from the UK. And it goes up because they have a reciprocal arrangement. But in Thailand, you don't. It just freezes and never goes up. I mean, that's outrageous. I mean, it shouldn't matter where you live. You've paid into it. It's your pension. But I suppose it doesn't affect enough people for people to cause a big enough fuss to upset the government. But I think it's outrageous America and Australia does that. Scott Geen 3062 down Wellington at ferry into Slander, loading camper van. It's freezing cold. You got a camper van? What type of camper van? Is it a VW? A VW split screen? I'd be surprised if it was. Jay Roden agreed. Jay Roden, but I guess the bonus for Australia is that the 6 month cycle also keeps public health insurance active. Do you have to pay for public health insurance over there? Because I've wondered about that, because That's what I couldn't understand. If you've got to contribute towards your insurance, and I suppose they might be making out of it, because I read a statistic once in the UK that the average retiree in 6 years of retiring takes out more than they ever put in terms of medical care and pension and all the rest of it. So it becomes a drain. That's the average. Obviously, if you've earned a lot of money and paid a lot of tax, you won't fall into that bracket. But obviously, a lot of people retire, they've not really worked, etc. So, you know, and the reality is the health service in the UK is predominantly used by older people. So you'd think the UK would be happy if some of the older people who are draining the health service were living over in Thailand or somewhere like that and paying for their own healthcare, because they're not coming back and, you know, draining the NHS, if you look at it that way. So I could understand. I'm thinking, well, why does Australia want people of a certain age going back there? Because when they go back there, they're probably going to use the doctors, the rest of it. You know, it's going to cost them money. But if, as you're suggesting, it's because they're paying into a private insurance system, maybe that's what it is. No idea. Scott Geen, Jay, what a joke about pension from New Zealand. Yeah, I think it's... but I thought you were in New Zealand, Scott. You must have known that, surely. Jim Pendergast, 1827. Morning, everybody. Good morning, Jim. You made it. The circle is complete. We've got everyone here, apart from Glenn, God rest him, and Tim Murray. Tim Murray has disappeared off the face of the earth, but almost everyone else is here. How are you, James? Jay Reardon. Morning, Jim. Scott Geen. And horse meat. And horse meat. What the are you talking about? Jay Rogan, yes, it's 2 years to turn it on. Yeah, there you go. Are you at retirement age now? How old are you, chap, if you don't mind me asking? I mean, is that going to be a bonus if you go there now? You can get your 2 years in. Art Park Garden, here, I'm going to talk to Ellen for a moment. What are you smoking, mate? I mean, Ellen's loving it. She's laughing away, but because it's funny, she said. There we go. Do you agree, Ellen?
Why do everybody calls me?
Because it's terms of affection, Ellen. Don't say I call you monkey. I call everyone monkey. Makes I call it my cheeky. I call him my cheeky monkey sometimes, and she gets very annoyed by that. Cheeky little monkey. She said the other day she wants me to start calling her love because it's better than calling her treacle or cheeky monkey. Or she wants some affections. I said, well, I'll call you love then. But she wants me to call her love in a female voice because it sounds more genuine and more caring. When I say love, it sounds a bit rough.
No, what is that?
Well, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to put a woman's accent on and call you love. Good morning, my love. It just sounds stupid.
Last time and not the one that we watched the other night.
I've got no idea what you're talking about. That is a British accent.
Mother's.
Anyway, I'm falling.
Rodney's mother.
Oh, Rodney's mother.
Yeah, that.
Well, she was posh, middle class.
Yeah,
well, I'm not. I'm rough and ready. Oh, Australia has a double pension system. The basic government pension is cancelled. But Australia also has a mandatory private super investment fund that is never cancelled. Okay, got you. So, Roden, public health insurance in Australia is 500 to 1,000 tax you pay every year when you file your taxes. Yeah, but that's not a lot, is it? I mean, that is yeah, well, that's not a lot, is it? I mean, that's probably around, I don't know what the average person pays. We call it national insurance in the UK. It's deducted from your wages. But the point is, you know, if you have an operation or something, that's that's not covered. I mean, it functions by the fact that the majority of people don't use it. I mean, your national insurance contribution is not going to cover a stint in hospital. So that's what I'm saying to you. I don't understand why they're so keen. They can't be keen on people to come back just because they're going to put $500 to $1,000 because that in the grand scale of things, that's nothing, isn't it? And if they end up then having an operation in the hospital, Australia's out of money, isn't it? I don't get it. But they must know what they're doing. They must have their reasons. as someone said, they want them probably want them spending money in the shops and that over there, buying groceries and supporting the economy. Adam Fenton, I hope there is a pension waiting for me at the end of the road. I'm considering how much debt the US is in. I'm not counting on it. It's a long way from now, so who knows what will happen. There will be a pension. There has to be something. Otherwise, you'd have people starving on the streets, wouldn't you? I mean, whether it will be as generous as it is now, I don't know. Nobody knows. Who knows what the future holds? We could be on the verge of World War III. I actually think we might be. So, a lot of our financial plans are going to go up in smoke, literally, if things pan out the way they might do. It is a very dangerous world at the moment. Adam Fenton, I hope that Jack Star. Jim Pendergast, 8127. Hey, buddy. I hope you're well. Jim, yes, good. Thanks, Jack Star. Jim Pendergast, lovely, bright day here in the UK. Jack Star, yes, very fresh here indeed. Jay Roden, compared to USA, Australian health insurance is very cheap. Yes. Jim Pendergast, counting down to our next trip. Yippee. How many days are you on now? What's the count, mate? Now, I have a dilemma. I'm going to end the stream soon because my coffee's nearly run out. I'm being pressured to go down to Sideways after this to support a friend who's doing a music quiz. But it started at 7:30. I think by the time I get there, it's going to be over. I don't know. I'll have to read the messages because I think I think Tim was messaging saying, "Why aren't you here?" I told him why I wasn't here because I only decided to do the quiz down doing other stuff. He said, "I hope you can make it later," but how much later? Probably be over by now, won't it? 58 days. 58 days. That's not long, mate. That's not long, but it will fly by. And are you staying over for the full 6 months? When you say it's fresh indeed, Jack, what kind of temperature are we looking at? Are we in the minuses? Well, we never got 19 likes, so Ellen is not going to do her hand cart. So there you go. It is what it is. I've forgotten what I was going to say now. Yeah, no hand. I've just a message just came up on the phone. I got confused then. Jim Pendergast, 6 months. Well, I hope you enjoy it, mate. It is nice that you've got people looking after your house over there. If it was empty, I imagine if I had a place over here and it wasn't really being looked after, I'd be quite stressed on the flight back, thinking, what am I going to get there? And the place is full of squatters or something like that. But I suppose you don't have that problem, do you? You don't have to clear out the cobwebs and things because you've got people looking after it. That is a nice way to be. Going back to Jay Roden's comment, compared to the USA, Australia, health insurance is very cheap. I think healthcare is cheap anywhere in the world compared to America, looking at some of the fees, particularly with this new jump they've got now because of the lack of extension. Jay Roden, quick, everyone, press the like. We're up to 22 now, Ellen. No, she says it's timed out. She's not going to do it. That makes it look like I've misled these people. Come on, lady. Come on, my love. Won't you do a handstand for us, my love? All I got back was Ilum, and I was being polite. Adam Fenton, I can't believe it's already December 2025. Flew by. Well, Adam, time is relative. The older you get, the quicker time passes. And you're still a young pup, as you will find. Wait till you get to 60 or 70. It flies by. I tried to explain that to a couple of people once, how time is relative, and it does actually go quicker the older you get. And Ellen's giving me a look now as if to think, because what? You were one of the people I explained.
I forgot.
To
Who does ask you if I
because time is relative. Time isn't. It's not a set thing. It's relative. So when you are it's relative to the faster your heart beats. Why when you're a kid, journeys and that take a long time. It feels like everything takes longer. It's like, animals live in different dimensions. It's like a mouse, which is a very fast heartbeat. it sleeps, it wakes up, it moves around. It's living in a different time dimension to us. It's all relative. So as you get older and your heart slows and you become less active, time travels faster. That's why when you have a motorbike accident or something like that, everything seems to slow down. It seems to be in slow motion. Well, it is because your heart speeds up because of the adrenaline and everything slows down because it's all relative. Why it's so hard to swat a fly, because a fly is in a different time dimension. So it looks slower to us. We're moving more slowly than the fly's moving faster because it's all to do with your heartbeat, your lifespan, and all the rest of these good things. But yes, as you get older, time passes quicker. In terms of your perception of it, the 24 hours is still the same thing, but in terms of how you view it, because it's relative to you, it passes quicker. I've got a funny feeling that didn't quite grasp that. Jim Pendergast, 1827, yes, can still taste the last Christmas dinner. Art Park Garden, handstand. Oh, you got a smirk from that one. You didn't quite get a smile, but there you go. Jay Roden, I read that the older you get, you fall into a repeated routine. The repeated routine makes everyday life feel the same, speeding up time. Yeah, well, that is. We do fall into routines, and I've always thought it's important to escape those routines because I think you live longer if you escape your routines. But no, it is a natural thing. I didn't make up that theory. Google it, look into it. I can't remember the guys who came up with that, but no, it is time. What? No, time came up with the theory of relativity.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but that's to do with space, time stopping if you're traveling at the speed of light, and that's a different thing altogether. But I know that's his theory of general relativity. But anyway, I'll talk about it after. I'm going to wind the live stream up now. His theory was that space and time bends. And if you were to travel at the speed of light, time would stop. But we can't travel at the speed of light. But anyway, we'll carry on this conversation when the camera's off, because I can't talk about that and talk about this at the same time. Yeah, well, Jim, as I say, look into it. It does. We live. It's all to do with the perception of time. Our perception of time changes as you get older. Not saying the 24-hour clock or the 60 minutes change. But that's not time. That is a standard. That's a unit of measurement of time. That's not time itself. Time itself is relative. We can time and record it, but the point is our perception of time changes, and time passes a lot quicker the older you get in terms of our perception. It will still take 60 minutes for a minute hand to go around the clock, but that 60 minutes will pass a lot quicker for someone who's 70 than it will if someone who's 4 years old. Adam Fenner, yes, Einstein's general relativity of physics. Exactly, you're spot on, mate. But perhaps I'll find out when I get older. Well, there you go, Jay. You will. Plaster finger, hat stand, damned autocorrect. Art Garden, does anything travel faster than the speed of light? Yeah, I can't remember what you call it. There is one thing, isn't it? I think there's one atom or something. I don't know. Anyway, I'm no expert on physics. We can't travel faster than the speed of light. I think when they did the hydro, what was that thing called? I can't remember what they call it. You know, that they did that test in America, in Switzerland. There was one molecule that they thought, but then I think that was wrong. I think that was a mistake, wasn't it? No, so I don't think anything. No, I don't think anything does travel faster than the speed of light. Well, there might be one atom that can potentially. I don't know. I never did physics. I never did physics. I did psychology. I never did physics. I'm no expert on physics. Just stuff I like. Just stuff I've read as the years have gone by. Well, I'm quite interested in string theory. I find that fascinating. I've watched quite a few lectures on string theory, on YouTube. But the trouble is, I can't keep up with it. I lose. My comprehension can only go so far because I never studied physics. But I find it fascinating, the idea of alternate universes. And there was one I was watching a lecture a few years ago, which was suggesting that you don't actually ever die because you're still there in terms of dimensions. Like, people will tell you that when you see that star, which has blown up a million years ago, it's because it has taken all that time for the light to get there. But in some dimensions, it is actually still there. It's not that it's gone, it's taken it. It's actually, anyway, it's gonna get very confusing. I'm not gonna actually carry on. Does anything show, Carl Sebastian, you explain the perception of time and adrenaline like a physicist. Jack Star, peace out, brother Ellen. Have a good week also. Jay Rowan, have a great evening, everyone. Jack Star, my perception is I'm 6'6" and 28 years old. That's my perception too, mate. That's how I'm going to picture you from now on, Jack. Thanks very much for the super chat. Always, as I say every week, very unnecessary, but very appreciated. You're a star, Jack. Long may your back continue to improve. Jack Star, space itself can expand faster than light. Well, there you go. The man knows more than me. Carl Sebastian, and if you go deeper into it, you realise everything is happening all at the same time. I am glad I have my own problems. Scott Green, Ellen nude handstand, come on. God, you don't, trust me, you don't want to see that. Now that got a kind of a smile. It's probably going to get me a slap in a minute. It's and ultimate. I can't read anymore. My eyes are getting tired. It's and time. Where there's a will, there's a relative. I had a friend who used to say that all the time. Where there's a will, there's a relative. Very true. Right. Well, welcome to the party. It's and time. But we're going now. Glad everyone can make it. Really, this is the highlight of my week these days. I'm not exaggerating. It's a highlight of my week. Thanks again for the super chat, Jack. Thanks again for everyone who joined. We're only up to 22 likes. It'd be nice if it gets past the 30 mark. I'm always happy if it gets past the 30 mark. So if you haven't hit the like button, it'd be fantastic if you did. But whether you do, whether you don't, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, stay safe, and be lucky.